I'd like to extend and acknowledge the press, Village Television, our candidates, board members, and other honored guests in attendance here at the Community Center Boardroom, and those special guests who are watching from the comfort of their home. My name is Cindy Whitney, and I am a United Mutual resident and will be moderating this event, the 2025 Meet the United Mutual Board Candidates Forum. Now, our candidates are running to fill 3 seats on the United Mutual Board of Directors with terms expiring at the 2028 annual election. We have 3 enthusiastic candidates whom I have the pleasure to introduce at this time. And I will begin with Kathy Bravata. Good morning. Good morning. Anthony Liberatore. Good morning. And Alan Dickinson. Richard Hall was scheduled, but he isn't here this morning. So welcome all. What I would like to begin with are your opening statements. Oh, I think Richard has appeared, and that's wonderful news. Come on down, Richard. It's okay.
One more over.
One more over.
Closer to the head. There you go.
You like dramatic entrances, I see. I was just welcoming everyone, Richard, and welcome to you. And we are going to begin with our opening statements now. So we're going to start with Kathy. This is your opening statement. It is a 3-minute opening statement.
Thank you very much. I'm going to read my, my statement. Good morning. I have lived in Laguna Woods Village for 14 years, and I am currently serving on the Village Management Board of Directors since April of 2024. I was appointed by the United Board. I am familiar with the work that goes into serving. Since 1984, I have served on several boards when I lived in Long Beach and in Torrance. While I served on these boards in various positions, such as president, vice president, secretary, and member at large, excuse me, the most interesting is when I was living in Torrance, we were a co-op and we converted to condominiums. This process took about 1.5 years to complete. I worked with our attorneys in converting our 80 units. I worked with my fellow owners to help coordinate and get all of the documentations ready for notarization and to be sent to the attorney. And there's quite a few documents that you do have to get together. I was also assigned the post of collecting all of the monies for the conversion that you pay the attorney to do all the paperwork, which I did, most of it. I was co-chair in establishing our CC&Rs, our bylaws, articles of incorporation, and our occupancy agreements. While serving on these 2 boards between 10 to 14 years, I've learned how challenging it is working with our management company and our fellow homeowners. However, in the long run, you do what is in the best interest of the homeowners and with some guidance from the management company for the community needs. Since I joined the Village Management Board, I have been going to as many meetings for GRF, United, finance meetings, landscape, and such. So, excuse me, so you can be informed as to what is currently, current that the boards have to deal with every day. In my 47 years of working in various positions, including sales, customer service, traffic department, and for 30 years, all aspects of purchasing, In working for a nonprofit company, my fellow purchasing agents, we had to be able to purchase any and everything that makes a company function. This includes contracts, RFQs, RFPs, ROIs, and in purchasing for the plumbing, electrical, construction departments. And I also handled our auto shop and our fleet vehicles. And I handled all of our contract labor and our consultants. I could go on, but I'm going to stop there. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kathy. Next we have Anthony. Would you kindly give your opening statement?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Anthony Liberatore. My mother called me Anthony because she didn't like Tony, but everybody else calls me Tony. I spent 39 years and worked for 4 or 5 different corporations. I 2009, and I had 2 companies. I closed them in 2010 because my boys weren't interested in them. I moved here to Laguna Woods in 2012. 2013, I was brought onto the board, and I've served with the United and BMS since then. And except for 2021, I think it is, when my wife had some issues, so I had to resign and stay with her. And then I got back on the board again. In my first term on the board, I headed up the ad hoc committee for lights, walkway lighting. And we replaced all the lights with LEDs on our walkways in United. We came in 4 months ahead of time and way under budget. I also, at the same time period, headed up an ad hoc committee for water conservation. It was actually really the toilet committee, but we called it water conservation because El Toro Water District put some burden on us to meet these demands by 2019. And we were able to, it was really a challenging thing. And without staff, we could not have been successful, but we were. We finished that up in 2015. And typical ad hoc committee, you have a specific job. And when that's done, the committee ends. So we ended that and we were very successful. And my whole thing about being a director is a fiduciary. You hear people say about communication, openness, transparency. Well, that's the very definition of fiduciary. And a fiduciary is somebody who has to put their own personal feelings and agendas aside and listen to the residents, the people they represent, and take up their causes and their what they want to do, what they want you to do for them. And so my whole outlook on being a director is to try to be a good fiduciary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Liberatore. Next, we will hear from Alan Dickinson. May we have your opening statement, please?
Thank you very much. I'd like to first of all say, please vote for me. And I'd like to introduce and say hello to a few particular people. I'd like to say Annyeong Ayoseyo, a jolly soso to our Korean friends. Buenos dias, como está, to our Latino Hispanic friends. Nehoma, Sheshe, to our Mandarin-speaking friends. And hello, Laguna Woods Village, to everyone else. And a couple of shout-outs to Mr. Paul Nguyen, Ms. Michaela Swihart, and Cindy for assisting us with this program. And, of course, my lovely bride, Lynn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. Now, Richard Hall, would you be kind enough to give us your opening statement?
Thank you, Madam President. My goal, if elected as a United board member, is to listen, most importantly, understand and help clarify members' issues or needs, and then work together with the various committees to help implement a timely, effective, and cost-conscious solutions for those needs, if feasible. but also keep an eye toward the future, as a longer-term goal of mine is to make Laguna Woods Village not only the premier retirement destination in Orange County, but the best in the entire nation. With my background, I bring extensive experience in technical analysis, project management, and have excellent problem-solving skills. I always strive to not only understand the initial, declared issues, but also the unstated perception aspects that come with many problems. I have been told that by people that know me, I've strived to first understand a problem or issue and then do research in enough detail so I'm ready to answer most questions the stakeholders may have before they ask them, which also helps me to better educate the stakeholders why particular solutions make sense because of the research I do beforehand. In my professional life, I've had many roles managing multiple departments in order to increase the value of the larger corporation, either through management of complex programs or through creative problem solving. I've also done several entrepreneurial startups, including starting my own home automation company, as well as a solar company here in Southern California. And I understand what it takes to run a business. It really boils down to understanding what needs to be done and the willingness to do whatever it takes to make the business successful. In my personal life, I've raised 2 independent and very resourceful children, and I'm married to a wonderful, giving woman, and have enjoyed supporting the Boy Scouts, teaching, guiding, and motivating young people, turning them into future leaders so they can pay it forward. I also serve my church in multiple roles by supporting my congregation and volunteering in several community outreach programs. I have worked my entire career servicing either corporate customers or members of my community, and over time, I have learned I have the servant mentality, or the gift of service, and want to use my skills and talents to serve my community where I both live and play. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. All right, I think it's important to note at this time that the sequence of the candidate seating and therefore their presentations has been determined by a random draw of a neutral party. So that said, we're going to go on to our prepared questions, and I'm going to take a moment to just share with you some of the protocols so you'll have an understanding of the process that we are using. The prepared questions will be asked by me, the moderator, and each candidate will have a 2-minute opportunity, but not an obligation to fill that whole 2 minutes, to respond. We will rotate which candidate answers first each time a question is asked. I will continue to proceed left to right. Please keep in mind that candidates will kindly only speak when it is their turn, not ask questions of or address others on the panel, nor refute or disparage the remarks given by another candidate. This is a forum, it is not a debate. The Granicus timer is showing on a screen, and it will show the candidates the amount of time they have remaining and when their time is up. If a candidate goes over their time, I will thank them and move on to the next candidate. Thank you in advance for monitoring your time. All right, so we started with Kathy first, so we're going to start with Anthony this time, and I will begin by asking the first prepared question. Anthony, discuss briefly how you would handle an action that the board feels is in the best interest of the community but goes against public opinion.
Thank you for that question, Madam Chair. Well, if the board has made a decision and we act on behalf of the community, I would have to go with the board. Thank you.
All right. All right, then I will move on to Alan. The same question. Would you like me to repeat it? Or? All right, be happy to. Discuss briefly how you would handle an action that the board feels is in the best interest of the community but goes against public opinion.
I feel that you need to take into consideration everybody's opinion, evaluate them, and not include your own personal biases, and do what's best for the community in whole, not just one individual or one particular ideology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. Same question to you, Mr. Hall. Would you like me to repeat it?
Yes, oftentimes that I'm sure that happens a lot in committee. Looking forward to that. Running several companies and dealing with managing 40 people at a time, it's always challenging to come up with a solution that everybody's happy with. But you always have to keep in mind what's the best for the greater good, for the overall whole, especially for the community. With my goals in mind of making this the best, not only West Coast, but the best in the nation, we have to plan better for the future. And I have a couple of things that I'll be sharing, I hope, during this meeting that I think we really need to be focusing on that we just haven't done in the last several years.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Over to you, Kathy. The same question. Would you like me to repeat?
Yes, please.
All right. Discuss briefly how you would handle an action that the board feels is in the best interest of the community but goes against public opinion.
Thank you. First off, I would ask, when the board made that particular decision, generally it is not a decision that's made quickly, and it's done in open meetings. And if my fellow owners do not come to those meetings to get the information that the directors have received to make that decision, and they make the decision based on that information, and if my fellow owners object to it, the only thing that I would say in trying to help them understand is that if you come to the meetings, the directors listen to all of the owners and will take your opinions into account. So I would try to explain that the boards have done the very best job they can with the information, and that they try to pass along to the owners at all of these open meetings that we are all able to attend, and hopefully help them understand the decision-making process.
Thank you very much. All right, we've finished with that question, and we're going to start the next question with you, Mr. Dickinson, and I will read that to you now. Describe your understanding of the responsibilities of a director.
In reading the document that had the information of what a United director should be and do, I feel that you need to put your best foot forward. You need to analyze what needs to be done, the recommendations of other committee board members. And while I consider myself a team player, I'd like to be really a helper, a follower, and a leader when necessary or required or requested to do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dickinson. Mr. Hall, over to you. The same question.
Yeah, there's a lot of things the director is responsible for. As I said in my opening statement, really, you need to listen to what the needs are of the community and the people. You have to understand what the goals and guidances are. I heard about this blue book. I'm the new guy here. I've not been on any of the other boards, so I kind of bring I call it a fresh perspective of things. But I heard this blue book, and I would love to get information about that and read more about that. That wasn't available online, so. But I think a successful HOA board requires a combination of a lot of things: strong leadership, effective communication, and the commitment to serving the community's best interests. This includes building a competent, well-rounded board with diverse backgrounds to bring a variety of perspectives to decision-making, fulfilling fiduciary responsibilities, finding ways to reduce costs, involving residents, and running the HOA like a business, which it is, prioritizing problem solvers and fostering open communication between the committees and other board members. By implementing these practices, the HOA board can create a very thriving community where residents feel informed, involved, and respected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Over to you, Ms. Bravada. The same question.
Could you repeat it?
I certainly can. Describe your understanding of the responsibilities of a director.
Okay, what I understand the responsibilities to be is to review all of the information that is provided for the various projects that are done within the community. The cooperation amongst ourselves, amongst the directors, is very important to have the discussions with the information being provided for that particular project or decision. And again, owners, I do think, should be as involved as possible so that they can help give their opinion to the directors who then have to make these decisions. And the directors do communicate quite well in their open and closed meetings to come up with the best avenue to proceed with any decision making, and the directors need to work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Liberatore, same question to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, again, my whole thing is, as a director, is to act as a fiduciary. And what does that mean? Beside understanding, communication, openness, to look at situations, for instance, insurance. We look at brokers, we look at self-insurance, we look at insurance companies. To investigate different avenues or perspectives, investigate them, put them together, and present them to the residents and to the board, and then become advise and consent. Whatever we present to the residents, I may want it done some way, but I listen to the residents and see how, or the board who represents the residents, what option we're going to take. But our thing as fiduciary is to look into these different perspectives and let everybody know what we found in these different perspectives, make a recommendation, but then advise and consent. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Liberatore. All right, we're going to move on, and we're going to begin with you, Mr. Hall, for this next question. This question is, share your suggestions for improving United Mutual.
I have a lot. I don't think it'll fit in 3 minutes, or 2 minutes. Sorry, I see the timer here. I have a certain insight into our energy structure, the grids and the power generation because of the solar company I've owned for many years. The quickest way to reduce the ever-increasing electricity costs is cut your overall energy footprint. I was pleased to hear that Anthony over there was part of the committee to help make the walkways all LED lighting. So I think we should convert all lights to LED. I work at the Performing Arts Center here in Clubhouse 5 as an audio-video lighting technician, just part-time, just to keep myself busy. But for example, just replacing the older incandescent stage lighting park cans with LED lights at the PAC in Clubhouse 5, my estimate says we should be able to save potentially $1,000 every month in electricity costs just for those two venues. That's basically less than a 1-year payback for the costs involved to convert stuff over. And in my mind, that's an important thing to do. And then the big thing is we need to add more solar now to offset the energy costs, as they'll be escalating much, much faster going forward. Our nation cannot grow without energy, and with all the new AI server farms being planned, an increase of all things that are being built now in the USA, the jobs are coming back to the USA, there'll be not enough power production for all the demands. I don't know if anybody knows about the Stargate initiative that's being proposed to do AI servers alone. That can consume 50 terawatts, which is 22% of all energy used in California. So think about this. Meta, Apple, and Microsoft are pushing to restart older nuclear reactor power plants that were mothballed and pouring another $1 trillion into AI server farms. There is a government report that is out just this year that says all new server farms will consume 10 to 12% of the entire U.S. energy production. What does that mean? The price of electricity is going to go through the roof. I predict it will it'll double within 3 years, based on my research I've done. There's not enough energy to grow fast without raising the electric rates substantially. Demands go through the roof. So more gas and coal power plants will need to come online quickly as nuclear plants
Your time.
take years to get done.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Ms. Bravata, the same question, please. Share your suggestions for improving United Mutual.
Okay. I have to agree with what Richard is talking about. To improve our community, We need to fix the electrical infrastructure within the community. We were built in 1964, and in those days, families only ever owned one car. And electricity, it was a mixture of electricity and gas in most places. I think we should try and find a way, and it could take years because of the cost involved to do these improvements, but we should find a way to improve our electrical infrastructure. We are going to have more electric vehicles along with the golf carts that are going to pull electricity from the carports, and currently our system is not adequate. Another area, I think, if I'm understanding the question on how to improve, we need to get more suggestions from owners and residents of what they would like to see done within the community. And I think if we get that, those questions would be very important to improve the mutual. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bravata. Mr. Dickinson, over to you. Oh, did I skip you, Anthony? I'm sorry. I went right past you, Anthony, because you looked like you'd already answered that question. Your suggestions for improving United Mutual.
Maybe I should change my aftershave.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm kind of an outlier on this because lately, from what I hear from our discussions around here, we need to find sources of revenue to help offset our increasing monthly assessments. And I'm willing to spend a lot of time going after revenue. There's 1,000 foundations out there, and people say, well, you can't get any money from foundation, but we haven't tried. And the same thing with SoCal Edison. Do you know SoCal Edison, the parent company of Edison, their CapEx, you know what CapEx is? CapEx is when you have a company and you want to improve the value of your company and your service. And so it's not a debit, it's increasing. They're projecting $38 to $43 billion in their CapEx. And Cal Edison alone has got $8 billion of that. Where does that CapEx money come from? It comes from you and from me. I want to try to go after that to some, maybe I'm not going to be successful, but I'll try. And I think that's the big elephant in the room for all of us is money. You know, if we live long enough, we're going to run out of money. So that's right now, that's what my whole thing is. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Libertari. Now, Mr. Dickinson, I have the same question to you, and I will repeat it. Please share your suggestions for improving United Mutual.
I would make it my goal in life to help with the assistance of the good board that we have, to reduce the HOA fees, which there's constantly comments about in the Globe newspaper, and have gone up drastically, I'm sad to say, in the 8 years my wife and I have lived here. Inflation, of course, caused a lot of that. But if there's any way to cut, I have a lot of experience with the Bank of America cutting costs and as other institutions, and I feel confident that I'd be able to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. We're going on to the next question, and it's back to you, Ms. Bravata. And this question is, outline the specific contributions you believe you can make, and what committees do you feel competent to serve on?
Thank you. Well, as far as my contributions would be the time that I would put in to the board of directors and the committees. I understand that when you are elected to a board, you are assigned committees to go on. I would like, if it's at all possible, to be on the committee for acquisitions. I think I could contribute a great deal for that. I would also like to be on I think the construction committees and possibly maintenance. Currently, I don't believe, and I apologize for this, that I have enough information on all of the committees and what they do. While I've lived here 14 years, I only got involved last year. And getting involved and going to all of these committees, there is so much information that I've learned, and it's just rolling around. I'm not sure that I get it out in the proper order, but I would enjoy whatever committee I'm assigned, and I would put in the time to serve on those committees and report back to the boards so that the discussions can ensue and things can be accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bravada. Mr. Liberatore, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please, Madam Chair.
Happy to. Please outline the specific contributions you believe you can make and what committees do you feel competent to serve on?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, having owned two companies and run operations for profit centers and so forth, I have a lot to offer. I've worked with labor, I've done budgets, and in my companies, production was everything. If you didn't produce, you get a pink slip. But I have no preferences on committees. I'd like our chair or our president to put me where they need me. And right now, I'm serving on the subcommittee of M&C for energy, and we're going to have a meeting next week. So I find that very challenging. I've done a lot of research on it, and there's a lot going on in energy research that maybe we haven't got into yet, but we should look at it before, and our job will be to make recommendations for the full M&C board. So we're researching all that right now. And before this, again, I was led the ad hoc committee for the walkway lighting, the LED lighting, and I did the water conservation committee because they were going to charge us $300 to put in a new appliance, a toilet, and I got it down to $150. So I have some proven records of my abilities here, and I'm willing to share that with the community, again, as a fiduciary, not somebody that knows everything. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Liberatore. And before I proceed, I think our timer is not functioning. Okay, thank you. Thank you. The question is over to you, Mr. Dickinson, and I will repeat the question. It is, please outline the specific contributions you believe you can make and what committees do you think you would like to serve on and feel competent to serve on.
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
I'm happy to. Please outline the specific contributions you believe you can make and what committees you feel competent to serve on.
I would be willing to serve on the committees that would be selected for me on my behalf by the current board and the new board members. I have no preference. I have a little bit of experience in most areas. I also would like to add that I wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Liberatore's assessment that we are fiduciaries. And as a corporate vice president with Bank of America for 20 years, I was a fiduciary for people like Joan Irvine Smith, the Queen Mary in Long Beach, Hershey Chocolate Company in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and the United Way Charity Foundation here in California. I think I could use those experiences to help, and thank you. That's all I add.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. Mr. Hall, would you like me to repeat the question?
I got it.
Okay.
So I feel my background and skills can be best utilized to support the United Mutual Energy Committee, and I'm looking forward to working with my other colleagues on these committees as well as GRF to do that, as well as the GRF solar committees based on running my own solar company. And probably I've thought about this a little bit. I'm still learning what all the committees are because they're on different GRF or VMS or United or Third, that kind of stuff. So I'm learning that. But I think also I'd be effective on the IT Broadband Services Committee because of my background in comms, communications, and IT business, as well as my CTS IT professional certification. And possibly either the Space Planning or the Maintenance and Construction Committee due to my experience in engineering and managing all the real estate that I used to own. I'm also willing to serve on the Disaster Preparedness Task Force due to my FEMA certification as well as having an American Red Cross First Aid Instructor certification. But I am willing to work on any committee the public and the committee leadership feels like I'd be effective and bring value. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to begin with you, Mr. Liberatore, for the next question. Would you kindly illustrate your familiarity with the occupancy agreement and bylaws of United Laguna Woods Mutual?
Thank you, Madam Chair, for that question. Well, the occupancy agreement is pretty intense. That to get here, you have to be approved, go through an approving process that you meet, and then the board of directors would approve you, and you're good, and you have to be reevaluated every 3 years. And that's my understanding of the occupancy agreement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Liberatore. Mr. Dickinson, we're back over to you. I'm going to repeat the question, and that is to please illustrate your familiarity with the occupancy agreement and bylaws of United Laguna Woods Mutual.
I think that the rules set forth, that I understand the question, of the rules that govern the residency of the units, or the ones that are in place, I concur with, is my understanding of the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dickinson. Mr. Hall, over to you.
Yep. I'll be honest, I have not read every document yet. There are several. I'm still waiting to get my hands on a couple of things. I know there's a lot of things that we have to deal with, but the bylaws and fiduciary responsibility of memberships here at United, it's not only United, but GRF we have to concern to. But my goal is to be on a United board, to learn the ropes, so to speak, before we go to a bigger, if I want to stay involved in this, and GRF and VMS. As I said, I have the servant mentality, so I've not read the occupancy agreement, and I do have the bylaws. I printed them out, but I didn't read them last night. I got some things that came up with the family that took precedence. But I'm aware we have some things regarding this Davis-Sterling Act and how that dictates how HOAs are run, and I know there's some concerns on that. From my reading of that act, in a nutshell, I don't think it was really written for HOAs and organizations as large as Laguna Woods Village. So that's continually being revamped. So thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your response. Ms. Bravata, the same question to you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Illustrate your familiarity with the occupancy agreement and bylaws of United Laguna Woods Mutual.
Okay, thank you. Okay, like Mr. Hall, the last time I read the bylaws and the article, or the, sorry.
Occupancy agreement.
Thank you.
Occupancy agreement.
Occupancy agreement. I understand that when you buy into a community like this, there are certain requirements that you must meet. You must meet a financial requirement. You need to understand all of the rules and the regulations that come about with the CCNR's Articles of Incorporation. And it has been a long time since I read them. I am ashamed of myself for not rereading them because I honestly thought that that was one of the questions that would come up, and I didn't read it. So I do know you have to follow all the requirements to move in here, and wherever you go, there are going to be rules and regulations that you have to follow, and being ignorant of them is not an excuse. So I think everyone should have to reread them at least every 3 years. How's that? Thank you.
I will too.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bravada. All right, and our final question is we're going to start with you, Mr. Dickinson, okay? So the question is, describe your understanding of the relationship between the United Laguna Woods Mutual Board and Village Management Services, otherwise known as VMS.
I understand that the relationship is VMS is an employee, a property management company for United, also for Third and the Towers. And by the way, in my humble opinion, VMS does an outstanding job of managing this village, which is the size or larger than a lot of cities. And we should direct any problems that come up to them. And from what I've observed in the past, they are very fast and efficient in correcting any errors in any of the services they provided. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. And we're going to go over to you, Mr. Hall. The same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
I got it.
Okay.
United Board listens to its members. The goal is to understand what the members are requesting of the board and of Laguna Woods Village. So we have to understand, I'm good at understanding both sides of the story, what people want, what's possible, and always weigh both sides. I'm not biased in that respect, and it's a good or bad trait. I can take it how you want to look at it, but I don't, I don't vote one way or the other, that kind of stuff. I think about what's best for the community overall, right? But people all have needs. They all have different needs. You have to understand what and the reason behind their asking for things. I know about the EV charging stations and issues involved with that. It's going to cost millions of dollars to do that. But I think this is something, it's coming. Electric vehicles are here. My understanding is about 500-600 cars already here that are electric. I don't know how many are registered, but it's important to keep track of that. But between United and VMS, VMS executes what we request them to do. Their job is to implement our ideas and our suggestions. Now, we're also involved on the boards of the different committees as well. It's not just United, we also involve with GRF and the different, disaster preparedness and the community at large. So I'm looking forward to working with the different boards and different committees. I have a couple ideas I think it will be very effective, revenue as well as areas for improvement. But I love talking to people, so I am looking forward to talking with as many people as possible in person to understand your ideas and bring them out to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Ms. Bravada, I'm going to repeat the question for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Please describe your understanding of the relationship between the United Laguna Woods Mutual Board and Village Management Services, otherwise known as VMS.
Okay, my understanding, by serving on previous boards at other communities, while we were much smaller communities, the whole idea that I understand is that the Village Management Services is a company that we hire to run all of our, run and pay all of our bills, take care of our properties, manage the staff that takes care of paying our bills and getting everything in, going through the community center, answering questions, doing tickets for repairs and other things of that nature. And that the United Mutual, it's up to us to let them know what we need them to do. Ultimately, they work for us and they take direction from what it is we need. And that's my understanding of how it should work or does work.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bravada. Mr. Liberatore, the same question to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, for those that have been around, we had a company called PCM here, and we got rid of them because we weren't satisfied with the way they were treating us. And so we invented VMS. And VMS is a group of directors appointed by the various boards to oversee our staff, our employed employer or employees, bargaining and non-bargaining employees. And we, as United, are considered a member. So is Third, a member. So that's my understanding of it. And so we elect people to be on the VMS staff to watch out and make sure that our people who are bargaining and non-bargaining employees are doing the best for us. That's my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Liberatore. Well, we are moving very swiftly along, so I'm going to take a moment and address these next comments to the audience here in the boardroom, and it regards the audience questions. They will be written, thank you very much for writing them legibly, on the provided cards, one question only per card. Please make no questions directed to a specific individual. The cards are then going to be sorted and screened by our corporate secretaries, and we thank them for that. Please eliminate illegible, they will eliminate any illegible or duplicate questions. I will read each question, and each candidate will then have 2 minutes as an opportunity, but not an obligation, to respond, time permitting. Now, I may not editorialize question wording. However, those called upon who wish to reword the question may do so without changing the meaning of the question. Candidates may not ask questions of other candidates or refute statements made by other candidates. And I thank again the corporate secretaries, Michaela and Paul, for supporting the moderator with all the moving parts today. Okay, now I have a question. Am I to read the person who submitted this, am I to read their name as well? Or am I just to ask the question?
Just the questions. Fine.
Just the question, okay. All right, and we're going to start this point with Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall, can you explain the difference between operating expenses and reserve expenditures? Want me to say that again? I stumbled.
Reserve is used to, ideally, I'll put it this way, the reserve is for future plans. Operating expenses is what you need to keep the village operating as it is today. And the goal of being on the committees and the various boards that are out there is to decide what's best for the community short-term and long-term. I will probably take a little bit longer view. My parents lived here 15 years ago. They loved it. Now, of course, I really wish I never sold it, the place they were in. But that's real estate for you. But I think operating expenses are going up as well. The reserve is being used for adding things that were not planned for. In a nutshell, that's what it is, from my understanding.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Ms. Bravata, over to you. Would you like me to repeat this
Yes,
question?
please.
Okay. Can you explain the difference between operating expenses and reserve expenditures?
All right, my understanding of the operating expenses are the dues, part of the dues that are paid to run the day-to-day business of the Laguna Woods community. That's covering all of the community services, running all of the amenities that we have here. And as far as the reserves, my understanding, because we are co-ops, that you have to have a certain amount of money that, depending on whether it's the painting, whether it's the water heaters or stoves or whatnot, you have to have a certain amount of money set aside so that as the units that have not been remodeled and that are still the responsibility of the United Mutual, that those reserves are there to purchase the stoves, replace all of the things for the people who've not remodeled. The other part of the reserves is also to look ahead, well, for the painting of the buildings and there's a number of issues coming up through the state that things have to be taken care of that we don't necessarily have set up in the association dues. So those monies will come out of the reserves, and that's why it's very important that the reserves are being built up again. That's my understanding of the difference. Thank you.
Thank you for that response, Ms. Bravata. Mr. Liberatore, same question to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Operating funds are for, as we've already stated, day-to-day operating of this Laguna Woods Village. And reserves are to prepare for a future. For instance, when you put say you put a building in there or any kind of an appliance in there, it has an expiration date. And you put in your reserves, which we're required by the state to have a 30-year reserve plan. You put money in that reserve so that when that life expectancy of that particular unit or function is done, you have money to replace it. So it's a requirement by the state that we have a substantial 30-year reserve plan. And in our operating budget, we also have a contingency. And the contingency, anybody who operates a business knows that when you go out and give a rate on a job, you want to make sure you have enough money. Something may happen. Prices of material may go up. Something may happen. So you put a 10 or 12% contingency in there, and that's not reserves. That's for things that come up during an operation that you're not planned for. So that's my understanding of that, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Liberatore. Mr. Dickinson, over to you. And I will, would you like me to reread the question? Okay.
Simply put, I have a finance degree from our local good Cal State Fullerton School of Business and Economics. And I would put, for simplicity purposes, that operating expenses are bills that need to be paid today, like a personal example, your rent. And reserve expenses are to be paid later, which I would refer to as a long-term savings account.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dickinson. Okay, we're going to go on to the next question, and that will be, Ms. Bravata, you will be the first one to answer that question. And it's because VMS doesn't usually get the compliments, complaints, or suggestions directly from residents, VMS doesn't really know what residents feel. Would you be willing to open the first half of meetings to residents?
Absolutely. I believe in most of the meetings, there is the opportunity for all of the residents to speak on issues that are not currently on the agenda. And whether their comments are good, bad, or otherwise, it's already in our system for them to come forward. What I would like is to see them come to the meetings and learn and understand what our community is like and what it takes to operate this village. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bravata. Mr. Liberatore, over to you. Same question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm a little confused about that because my understanding of VMS is that United is a member. Third is a member. So individuals talking at the VMS, I'm not sure how I would handle that because right now I think, according to the way I understand VMS, it's members. United can speak up, and Third can speak up, and Tower can speak up. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Liberatore. Mr. Dickinson, the same question. I'd be happy to. Because VMS doesn't usually get the compliments, complaints, or suggestions direct from residents, VMS doesn't really know what residents feel. Would you be willing to open the first half of meetings to residents?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would be willing as a board member to do that. I think I've had a lot of interaction with VMS, and I've always had outstanding service in all the various departments, including alterations and the corporate secretary's department. I think the more input that we can get from them, as well as what we can give to them, would be beneficial to the community. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. Over to you, Mr. Hall.
Yes, sorry. There we go. Yes, I believe residents should be informed, bottom line. They should know what's going on, not only United Mutual, but Third. Keep in mind, we're the biggest, but, you know, Third is also 6,000 some odd houses and then 50-50. So we are a city, we are a community. It's not just United. But you have to keep in mind that different mutuals have different needs because of the issues that they're dealing with that we may not be seeing inside of United. But generally, they're very close to the same. But in terms of you as residents work with us, the United board members, to hear your ideas and bring your ideas and share them with the other committee members on the other boards, as well as VMS, as well as GRF, right? So I think residents should be able to attend those meetings and see what's going on and how their government works. I think it would be informative for everybody. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Well, we have moved swiftly through this meeting, and it's now time for closing statements. Everybody ready? Okay. We'll start with you, Mr. Liberatore. Your 2-minute closing statement, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I'd just like to say I've had a good life here since 2013, and it's been an honor to serve the community of United on the board in various aspects and various committees, and I'd like to hope I can continue that, so I'd like to ask for your consideration to vote for me to return to United. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Liberatore. Over to you, Mr. Dickinson, your 2-minute closing statement.
Please vote for me. If elected, I will not let you down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. Over to you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you that are serving on the board today and the committees. I do understand the sacrifice that you make in giving your time and your experience and the dedication it takes to serve your community. It's an honor to be working with you. I would feel I'll be a valuable and contributing member in supporting the ongoing operations and projects within Laguna Woods. There's a couple of other ideas I'd like to share since I have a little time left over here. I'd like to add, I'll just give you the nutshell explanation. I want to add more social services. I think we can help bring in some language translation support for new members, possibly establish some conflict resolution committees, arbitration committees. I think we should help when we create new rules and guidelines and so on. We should also identify which department is responsible for that policy. This is something that may have been done already. I heard somebody in one of the meetings I attended before, but basically creating a new member packet of information so they know where to go and what to do when they come on board. Have a better way to notify security for people leaving on vacation, cars that are staying there for a long period of time. We definitely need more space to grow. There's so much demand for space. It's crazy. I heard it's like 5,000, 6,000 square feet easy just for the clubs. The mutuals do need more money. Unfortunately, the cost of things are not going down. They are going up. Or maybe instead of we need more money, we need to save more money. So in order to support our members' needs, I suggest a more gradual, controlled growth, not levy huge increases in 1 year, bigger than the last 15 years combined, in order to try and recover the lack of foresight from before. We have had either zero or very small increases in dues over the past 10 years. I feel we're struggling now because of that lack of foresight and planning. But my bottom line is I want to give back to my community and serve as part of this team. I'm a strong believer in lifelong continuing education and enjoy learning new skills all the time. Bottom line, I'm a hands-on problem solver with strong work ethic and can weigh the cost of benefits versus analysis of issues quickly.
Your time.
Thank you.
Right on the button. Thank you. Ms. Bravata, you get the last word.
Okay, thank you. I also typed up a closing comment. First off, I would like to thank my fellow candidates for being here today and expressing their views and opinions, and the fact that they are very articulate in their speaking. something I need to learn to do. So in closing, I'd like to say if I'm elected to the United Board, I will do all I can to help by using best practices to do research on how we can save money on upcoming projects. We all need to look into building a better way to improve our infrastructure, especially when it comes to our electrical costs. Rates are going to keep going up and up, and we will see more owners and residents purchasing electric vehicles. And like our golf carts, they will want to continue to use the carports to charge their vehicles. So we must find a way to get our fellow owners and residents interested and involved in governing our mutuals. Our owners' and residents' opinions matter, and it's so important in the decision on how we spend our association dues. Thank you for considering me for the United Board. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bravada. All right, I want to address this comment to those who are here in the boardroom and those who are watching at home. A big thank you for your interest in the governance of our community. For candidates, I want to thank you for your service and for your dedication to representing the needs of every one of us who is very proud to call Laguna Woods Village our home. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.